Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 67, Balram slays Dvivida gorilla, text number 26, 27 and 28. So we will recite 26. Cakampe tena patatā sa-ṭaṅkaḥ sa-vanaspatiḥ parvataḥ kuru-śārdūla vāyunā naur ivāmbhasi cakampe tena patatā sa-ṭaṅkaḥ sa-vanaspatiḥ parvataḥ kuru-śārdūla vāyunā naur ivāmbhasi cakampe tena patatā sa-ṭaṅkaḥ sa-vanaspatiḥ parvataḥ kuru-śārdūla vāyunā naur ivāmbhasi. Savanaspatiḥ vāyunā naur ivāmbhasi Mataji. word by word meaning. Cakampe, shook. Tena, because of him. Patatā, as he fell. Sa, together with. ṭaṅka, its cliffs. Sa, together with. Vāyunā, its trees. Parvataḥ, the mountain. kuru-śārdūla, O tiger among the Kurus, Parīkṣit Mahārāja. Vāyunā, by the wind. Naur, a boat. Iva, as if. Ambhasi, on the water. Translation and purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When you fell, O tiger among the Kurus, Raivataka Mountain shook, along with its cliffs and trees, like a wind-tossed boat at sea. Kindly repeat. When you fell, O tiger among the Kurus, Raivataka Mountain shook, all with its cliffs and trees, like a wind-tossed boat at sea. Purport. The word ṭaṅka here indicates not only the mountain cliffs, but also the fissures and other spots where water had accumulated. All these mountainous areas shook and trembled when Dvivida fell. So there are two more verses I will read. Jaya Shabdo Nama Shabda Sadhu Shabdeti Chambare Sura Siddha Munindranam Asit Kushuma Varsinam. Translation. In the heaven, the demigods, perfect mystics and great sages cried out, "Victory to you, obeisances to you, excellent, well done," and showered flowers upon the Lord. Evam nihatya dvividam jagatpati karavaham samstuyamano bhagavan janaisva puramavisat. Translation. Having thus killed Dvivida, who had disturbed the whole world, the Supreme Lord returned to his capital as the people along the way chanted his glories. Thus ends the purport of his humble servants of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 67th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Balaram Slays Dvivida Gorilla. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Shri Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's very wonderful ending of the chapter. The last word says, chanted the glories of the Lord. So this program of Srimad Bhagavatam, reciting Bhagavad Gita, chanting of the holy name, the main purpose is to glorify Krishna and Balaram. So we have something from Krishna book on this chapter, and we had many wonderful speakers speaking on the chapter, and we heard the pastime. Specifically, Mother Devi Shakti gave a whole history of how Dvivida became what he was now because of the bad association. So I was reading the chapter from Krishna book today morning because there was not much in the purport. And Srimad Prabhu said, still you can speak the whole story again. So I read the whole chapter and we would speak something on certain points from that chapter in Krishna book. So here, yeah, you can open, yeah. So the second paragraph, this gorilla was a great friend of Bhaumasura or Narkasura, who was killed by Krishna in connection with his kidnapping 16,000 princesses from all over the world. Dvivida was the minister of King Sugriva. His brother Mahinda was also a very powerful gorilla king. When Dvivida gorilla heard the story of his friend Bhaumasura being killed by Lord Krishna, he planned to create mischief throughout the country in order to avenge the death of Bhaumasura. So now how he's starting the revenge. That is the point I want to discuss a little bit on. His first business was to set fires in villages, towns, and industrial and mining plains, as well as in the residential quarters of the mercantile men who were busy dairy farming and protecting cows. Sometimes he would uproot a big mountain, tear it to pieces. In this way, he created disturbances all over the country, especially in the province of Kathwara. The city of Dwarka was situated in this Kathwara province, and because Lord Krishna used to live in this city, Dwarka specifically made its target of disturbance. So here, we see that how these demons were creating disturbances. It's very specifically given also in, I will open chapter 7, how Hiranyakashipu also created disturbance. So these demons have a specific style and a format of creating disturbance in Krishna's system. They are all same. They are doing the same thing actually. So here, what he did is, he went to the villages, putting them to fire, and destroying the residential quarters of the mercantile men who were busy dairy farming and protecting cows. So the foundation of any civilization is protection of cows. So these demons understand this. So whenever they want to disturb the arrangement, they know where to go. So they go and disturb them, service to the cows. So similarly in 7th canto, it's 2nd chapter, text number 12. Similar thing Hiranyakashipu is doing, that he is trying to create disturbance because he wanted to take revenge of Vishnu killing Hiranyaksha. So we will read that verse also, 7 to 12. This is how Hiranyakashipu is instructing the demons. Yatra yatra dvijagavo veda varnashrama kriyaha tam tam janapadam yata sandipayata vrichata. Translation. Immediately go wherever there is good protection for cows and brahmanas, and wherever the Vedas are studied in terms of the Varnashram principles. Set fire to those places and cut from the roots the trees there, which are the source of life. So, it's a nice purport also in this, but the point is, for any civilization to be God conscious, these are very important principles, protecting cows. And another point Prabhupada writes in this purport is, they were uprooting the trees from the roots, which are the source of life. The roots of the trees are mentioned here as source of life. So it's a big science to discuss on that. We won't touch that, but my main point I want to discuss is that protecting cows is a duty of entire humanity, protecting cows and brahmana. As we chant every day when we offer bhoga, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hidaya Cha Jagat Hidaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Dvivida was trying to disturb that system by burning the villages. And this is what is happening today also, that very few want to live a life in village. We are in village, Vrindavan. is a village, but now it is developing as more like a town and a city. But originally Vrindavan moved is village, and the occupation of Brajbasis was to take care of cows, take care of land, and this is how Kamsa was managing his kingdom. Nanda Maharaj was supplying taxes in the form of ghee and vegetables and fruits for survival. So, mercantile community, the word here is, it was disturbing the mercantile community, because they maintain the all other varnas and ashrama. So, the one who is growing food and one who is taking care of cows supports the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Shudras, the Vaishya community, and similarly if I talk about the Sannyasa ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, and the Grihasthas. The Grihasthas are supposed to be doing this mostly, but we see in the scriptures that even Brahmanas were doing protecting the cows if required. But principally it's the duty of the Vaishya class, so he is attacking the mercantile community. This is what is happening today. The whole world as a tool to generate money, we are engaged into Ugra Karma. And so we are basically following these demons, Hiranyakashipu or Dvivida for that matter, what we are discussing today. So we have to be very careful because Srila Prabhupada, right from the beginning, yesterday we met Bana Bhatta Prabhu, he's from New Vrindavan. He was here in Vrindavan also before in 24-hour Kirtan. So he was speaking about how Srila Prabhupada was envisioning the farm community in New Vrindavan in America. So Srila Prabhupada was very aware, and he also mentioned one thing that Prabhupada said in 50 years everything will be finished. So it's almost 50 years more than now, just touching that part when he spoke this sentence, Srila Prabhupada. So it's a very serious instruction for us to understand that unless and until we have a Krishna conscious lifestyle, right now we are mimicking a lifestyle of demons. We need a lifestyle of what Krishna and Balaram were doing, because this whole Bhagavatam is glorifying Krishna and Balaram, and we are here in Raman Reti Krishna Balaram Mandir, and what Krishna and Balaram were doing. So it's a very serious message I feel from this pastime, how from the action of Dvivida, that we have to get out from this mindset of following the demons, but rather all our actions should be to support Mother Earth, Mother Cow, and develop a lifestyle where the community lives together. So Srila Prabhupada we recently went to New Vrindavan. There is 2,000 acre land there, and there are many similar big projects with huge land. So Krishna is providing enough resources, but we will read now one purport where Prabhupada says, my devotee doesn't desire to serve, doesn't desire even to go back home, back to Godhead. So this was one point I want to take from this pastime, and then the end of the story, as described in Krishna book, Prabhupada writes, after this horrible incident, all the Siddhas, great sages and saintly persons from the upper planetary system showered flowers on the person of Lord Balaram and vibrated sounds glorifying his supremacy. All of them chanted, all glories to Lord Balaram. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. By killing this great demon, Dvivida, you have initiated an auspicious era for the world. All such jubilant sounds of victory were heard from outer space. And killing the great demon Dvivida and being worshipped by showers of flowers and glorious sounds of victory, Balaram returned to his capital city, Dwarka. So we see that in all these pastimes, as soon as the pastimes get over, the devotees, demigods, everybody get engaged in glorifying the Lord. So that's very important aspect of our life of Krishna consciousness, that we focus on not what Dvivida did, but we focus more on what Balaram did or what Krishna did. So we glorify them by glorifying their pastimes. And we hear from that Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita also, Mat chitta matagata pranam bodhayante parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So this is the activity of devotees, that they live a simple life like the Brajavasis living on the land, serving cows, whatever Krishna is providing, we eat that, and rest of the time we chant Hare Krishna. That's the purpose of the society, to glorify Krishna. So we have some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. I will read from Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 14. Tasmadekena manasa Bhagwan sattvatam pati strotavya kirtitavyascha deya pujyasya nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. So this is what we should just keep meditating on. That Krishna is my well-wisher, Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. Like we were reading Bhagavad Gita, and in Krishna says that I am the cause of creation, maintenance and annihilation. So even annihilation, Krishna is the cause. He is the cause of all causes. So any situation that manifests around us, we endeavor our best to serve. But the real endeavor or the real success is to think of Krishna and to glorify Krishna. That's the real success. Nothing external means anything to Krishna and Balaram, because they are enough. They are showing by their extraordinary activities what we are seeing in this 10th canto. We cannot. It is inconceivable. Why such inconceivable pastimes are performed? For killing, they don't need much. Just a little thing is enough to kill anyone. So this is to bring our attention to the point that everything happens what they want. So what we are trying to do then? Then we have to try to glorify them all the time. That is what they want from us. I couldn't find that purport, but in one purport Prabhupada writes that when someone praises us, we feel happy. This is what we are eagerly waiting to hear. Since the time we wake up in the morning, someone praises me. But then Prabhupada writes that Krishna also likes this. This quality comes from Krishna. So when we glorify Krishna, he is also very happy with us. So that's the purpose of glorifying, to please the Lord. That's the whole purpose. So we are hearing Bhagavatam, we are assembling in this wonderful association. The purpose is to glorify Krishna and please him, to glorify Balaram and please him. That's the purpose of all activities we do. So we have a nice purport also in this. If realization of the absolute truth is the ultimate aim of life, it must be carried out by all means. If any one of the above mentioned cast an order of life, the four processes, namely glorifying, hearing, remembering and worshipping, are general occupations. So not that this is for some special category. Prabhupada is writing for all caste and order of life. These four activities has to be done. Without these principles of life, no one can exist. Activities of the living being involve engagement in these four different principles of life. So this is what our activities of all living being, Prabhupada writes, all living being. These are the four activities we should be engaged in. Especially in modern society, all activities are more or less dependent on hearing and glorifying. But what? Any man from any social status become a well-known man in human society within a very short time if he simply glorified truly or falsely in a daily newspaper. So because most of the people now spend time reading newspapers. So that's the medium to make someone popular. So then Prabhupada writes about political leaders, how they do propaganda and make themselves popular and become famous. But the actual object of glorification is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has created everything manifested before us. We have broadly discussed this fact in our comments on the Janmadi Yasya shloka at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. The tendency to glorify others or hear other must be turned to the real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring happiness. So this is the most thing sought for in this world, happiness. Everybody wants to be happy. So here Prabhupada is writing that to be happy, we have to turn our attention to glorify Krishna. That's how we can become happy. Right now we are trying to please some personalities but that is called flattering in general. But the real glorification, even if I have to glorifying this Prabhu for playing wonderful mridanga, I can certainly say that Krishna has blessed you by giving this wonderful skill to serve mridanga. So that is glorifying him, but in connection with Krishna. So this is how we can enhance that devotee's understanding that how Krishna has blessed him. Otherwise, if somebody says, oh, I am doing very good accounting, then I might get puffed up. Oh, I am a good accountant. So this is detrimental to my consciousness. So this is very important what we speak with devotees, how we are glorifying and helping each other. It has to be always in context to glorifying Krishna and Balaram. So we take one more verse. We have a few more verses. This is the verse number 17 from the same chapter. Shrunvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantosti abhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear. See, this is so important. A devotee who has developed desire to hear, Krishna cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart. That's the process. Not that we try to do other way around. Okay, let me do away with my anarthas, then I will come. No, we have to start this process of glorifying, and when Krishna is pleased, he cleanses all the material desire for material enjoyment from our heart. His messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So, purport. Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are non-different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as Lord personally. So, with this sound, what we are reciting now, glorifying Krishna, personally Krishna appears wherever we are. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshastaka declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all potencies of the Lord, and that he has endowed his innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound, but unfortunately we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's names and activities. So we can feel that when I'm chanting I feel sleepy, or after a while in the class I feel like sleeping. I cannot do this more. That shows that I am still not relishing that potency or the holy name or the glorification process has. So we need to do this in association of devotees. When we read like Tushyanti cha Ramanti just together, the devotees gather and do glorification of the Lord. It's not an individual process to do in isolation. This is congregationally should be done, and it helps a lot. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. So here Prabhupada is giving that hearing and chanting is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. So here when we are reading Bhagavatam, in a way we are trying to glorify Srila Prabhupada, because we are glorifying association of Srila Prabhupada, these purports, and it's a wonderful way to express our gratitude that only by reading his books we can understand the glories of Krishna and Balaram. There is no other way for us. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees when he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him. The Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. So this is what Krishna wants, because this is what Bhagavad Gita says. If you remember Krishna, antakale cha mameva, if you remember Krishna at the end of our life, which we don't know, then we will go back home, back to Godhead. So, when we keep doing this process, then Krishna from within ensures that the devotee go back home, back to Godhead. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into His kingdom than we can desire. So, His intensity is more than our intensity. So that's the good news. That Krishna is certainly trying every moment to attract our attention to His lotus feet. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. See, this is what I was mentioning, that Prabhupada is writing. Most of us do not even desire at all to go back to Godhead. So if we just desire, at least beginning, that I want to serve the cows, I want to live a life like ivāmbhasi, living on the land, a simple life, growing vegetables, fruits and flowers for the deities, at least desire. That's the beginning process. We have to desire. And man proposes, God disposes. So when we start desiring and we sincerely follow the process of hearing and chanting in association of pure devotee, then Krishna will answer our desires. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. So here Prabhupada is very clearly giving this. And we have one verse from second. We were reading that yesterday. This is a very nice chapter, second canto, chapter 3. Sorry. It's pure devotional service, the change in heart. So previous to these chapters, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the importance of devotional service, and here it's even more intensely expressed that what we should do, what the ears are for, what the eyes are for. So we will read some verses from this. Text number 17. Increases the duration of life of everyone, except one utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. This is the way we can conquer this elimination of nearing the death process, by discussing the topics of the Lord. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. So, this process of devotional service is to revive our relationship with the Lord. We are trying to revive that lost relationship with Krishna. This is the process, devotional service. Time and tide wait for no man, so the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of the duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. So our permanent source of happiness is in glorifying the Lord. That's the permanent source of happiness. We have been conditioned with many other definitions to become happy. So we are engaged in those activities, accumulating money, making bank balance, houses, everything. But Krishna says, if you just keep glorifying me, I am taking care of you, I am your well-wisher, I am your friend. And one Prabhupada says, even if we are in a dog's body, in a hog's body, but Krishna is still there in the heart, He never leaves us in any situation. So He is our well-wisher friend in all the situations, and He tries to bring our attention back to Him. So living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is a natural situation of the living entity. Anandmayo bhyasat. But he is vainly seeking happiness in material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. So this we all have realized, that when we are really absorbed in doing some service to the devotees, to the deities, in any form, decorating them, making garland, making bhoga, hearing Prabhupada books, hearing Prabhupada classes, chanting the holy name, we feel a real kind of happiness. Maybe it doesn't last for long, but we have some experience. That is why we are continuing for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Otherwise, what's the purpose? Certainly we feel that connection and that happiness, and to stay connected to it, we have to be more absorbed in this process of hearing and chanting for long hours. In one purpose, it has to be for long hours. It is not duty bound. We read something and then go to some other thing. It has to be long hours. Any service we do, it has to be for long hours. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and His name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage and personality are all identical with Him. Once a person comes into contact with any one of the above mentioned energies of the Lord through the proper channel of devotional service, the door to perfection is immediately opened. Yeah. And further, Prabhupada writes, oral reception of the transcendental messages implies total realization, just as fructification of one part of a tree implies fructification of all other parts. The realization for a moment in the association of pure devotees like Sukadeva Goswami prepares one's complete life for eternity. This is the glory of association of devotees. And if we are not in association of devotees, that's a very, very risky situation we are putting ourselves in. It's very important to be in association of devotees, and association of devotee means the association where we glorify the Lord, where we discuss the pastimes of the Lord, where we render some devotional service for the Lord. That's the association, not that we all gather nicely and then we talk about some, I don't know what is going on, cricket or whatever is popular, I don't know, some any other thing, some political news, So it's very important that we stay focused on Krishna. Nothing else is going to help us. And then we have 1:638, last verse. We have more, but maybe not enough time. 1:6. Canto 1, chapter 6. It's by Narada Muni. 30. 6:38, yes. This is the last verse of the chapter. Aho devarshir dhanyoyam yatkirtim saranga dhanvanaha gayan madhyan idam tantrya ramayati yathuram jagat. All glory and success to Srila Narada Muni, because he glorifies the activities of the personality of Godhead, and so doing he himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. So this is important for us, that we are glorifying and also helping others. Sri Narada Muni plays on his instrument to glorify the transcendental activities of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities of the universe. So this thought has to be there. When we are playing a musical instrument, we are doing it to glorify the activities of the Lord. That's the purpose. And to give relief to all the miserable living entities of the universe. So millions of people come to this temple and they get opportunity to take darshan of Krishna Balaram, to hear the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that's a wonderful service offered to the world in the form of glorifying Krishna. No one is happy here within the universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya's illusion. The illusory energy of the Lord is so strong that even the hog who lives on filthy stool feels happy. So this is how the illusory energy is, that it makes us feel happy. No one can be truly happy within the material world. Srila Narad Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wanders everywhere. So this is how we see Srila Prabhupada started his organization, ISKCON, and he himself was traveling all over the world, and then he empowered his followers to travel and preach Krishna consciousness. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. So the mission of devotees is in line with mission of the Lord. Mission of the Lord is to bring back home, back to Godhead, all the fallen souls. So a devotee of the Lord is also on the same program, and so he distributes Srila Prabhupada books, do street sankirtan and different various activities for glorifying Krishna. That is the mission of all genuine devotees of the Lord, following the footsteps of that great sage. So following the footsteps of Narad Muni, following the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, now we have Srimad Bhagavatam-10.67.28 marathon coming. So it's a wonderful opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada, glorify Krishna by distributing his books. So we all should try as much as we can spare our time in this wonderful activity of distributing transcendental books of Srila Prabhupada. And that's the best form of preaching, Simply by distributing books, by connecting people with Srila Prabhupada books, that's the best form of preaching we can do. So these were some thoughts I had on this verse. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing. So now we are open for comments. Any more comments on this? And or questions? So I can read more. Yeah. There is? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We've been hearing last few days about Lord Balaram. Yesterday he was angry. Previously he was enjoying with the young ladies. Previously he enjoyed gambling. These are all negative things. Can you just explain a bit about that, please?
As I understand, all the activities that Krishna or Balaram do are transcendental. Janma karma chame divyam. Evam ye veti tattvatah tattva deham punar janma naiti mami. That's the verse, right? In that, it says that one who understands the Lord's activity as transcendental, divya. So we analyze these activities as per our conditioning. So we understand that anger is bad. But when Krishna does anything or Balaram does anything, it's all transcendental. So only when we understand this, we can be free from the cycle of birth and death. So whatever the Lord does is all transcendental. That is why it is called inconceivable. We cannot conceive how the Lord is behaving, but it's a mercy. So even if Krishna is angry on someone, even if Balaram is angry, it's a mercy of the Lord. Like these Nala, Kuvar and Manigriva, they were given curse. It was a blessing. They got darshan of Krishna in Braj. So all that comes from Vaishnavas and the Lord is mercy. It's not anything bad. But because of our conditioning, we take it like that. This is my understanding. Would you like to add anything, Maharaj? Thank you. Someone there behind. Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the class. You said that we have to always glorify Lord. So in our day-to-day life also, see in the temple generally or when we are doing arti or something, all those things, then we'll say the prayers and we'll glorify the Lord. But other times, how we can glorify Lord?
So, this was the question of Arjuna also actually, that how can I think of you, Krishna, all the time? Because Krishna was asking him to fight. How can I think of you? And then another thing, Arjuna said that if we just have to think of you, that means we don't have to do anything else. But then Krishna doesn't accept that also. He said, Mamnu smara yuddhacha, think of me and fight. So that's one thing we have to do, that whatever actions we are rendering, whatever activities we are doing, they should be devotional service. They should be for pleasure of the Lord. Otherwise it is binding us. Your question is very pertinent. We are all struggling, at least I can say for me, we struggle with this understanding to do every moment activity to glorify Krishna or doing activity thinking of Krishna, but it is mandatory. And then Krishna says, how it will happen? Abhyasa nestuno kaunteya. We have to practice. It's by practice. Like Prabhupada gives example of a girl and a boy who have some relationship, but they are thinking. The wife, even though she has a relation, then she is thinking of the person, even though she is doing her activity. So it's easy. We have that capacity to think of Krishna, because we can think of any other, so many persons we are thinking of. Like even a small example, if I get some accident and I'm admitted in the hospital, and if my family is not here, it is very easy for them to think of me. wherever they are. Full time they can think of me. Then mother, she can think of the child very easily 24 hours, because she knows about the activity of the child. Because we have that relationship with the child. Because husband and wife share that relationship. So we have to revive that relationship with Krishna. That's the challenge. The root cause is that we still have not revived our relationship with the Lord. And that can happen by hearing and chanting. The more we hear Krishna's glories, the more we chant the holy name. Prabhupada writes, the chanting of the holy name solidifies our hearing process. It's there in second canto only. We were reading a few days back. So it's very important to chant attentively, and with that we should also read Srila Prabhupada books, hear Prabhupada classes. Maharaj has a wonderful instrument which just speaks Prabhupada classes whole day. You can hear it whole day. So by this practice, it will become natural for us. Like if I'm driving for example, from my home to my office, and in the moment I sit in the car, I'm already thinking of the office. We are doing it, right? It's natural in this world to do it. So when we get associated with Krishna consciousness, and we're all the time connected with a thought that I'm serving Krishna, for His pleasure I am doing everything, then it will be very easy that all our actions will be just to glorify Krishna. Like cooking. If I am thinking to become a good cook, or to show that I am a very good cook, it might spoil my consciousness. But from the very word go, I am thinking that I want to cook something nice for the Lord, and with that consciousness, how Radharani was cooking for Krishna, how Mother Yashoda was cooking for Krishna, we can just go on those things and do our activity. So it is important to think like this. It is important to glorify Krishna. But right now, I understand I cannot do, or we struggle with that, but the reason is because we are not absorbed still in this process of hearing and chanting. So that has to be intensified. So it's a good indication that yes, we are not doing, but then it's important to identify this. Itself is a big blessings today, that I am thinking like this, that I am unable to do this. So then Krishna, if I desire that I want to do this now, then Krishna will help us to do that. Thank you. Any more? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.